Immediately, right off the bat, without question, I want to establish one thing. As far as I am aware, there is no problem between Saudi Arabia and the Philippines. As far as I am aware. That's not what this video is about. I have no clue if there's problems. I hope there isn't. I hope we all live in peace. That's not what's going on here. So, calm down. Those of you who may be watching. No. Whew. Let's start any sort of international incident here. Jesus. What most of you may not realize, because you don't see the comments the way that I do, and what some of you may have caught on to because you heard me kind of say something about it, I think, before. I've been coming under fire recently by the wonderful Filipino people who have watched my video about Canada versus the Philippines and has become very upset. Now, the reason why I titled this video Saudi Arabia versus the Philippines is because there was a time, a month before, I think, the whole Canada versus the Philippines thing, where I talked about Canada versus Saudi Arabia. And that blew up into a big thing. And I had to come out and say, look, like, I'm not against anybody here. I'm kind of shitting on Canada. Like, you know, I think Canada was stupid in that situation. I think they were being dicks. And I said as much, I thought. And so I had to reiterate, that Canada's kind of dicks, right? The comments I got during that were, you know, the same sort of thing. A lot of people cussing me out. A lot of people telling me I cuss too much, which I thought was kind of funny, because different cultures, you know, made me giggle. And, you know, so I got a lot of that. And I got a lot of threats, like you do. But I got a lot of people who were like, you should come to Saudi Arabia. If you think Saudi Arabia is that bad, you should really come here because you'd be amazed at what you'd see if you came to Saudi Arabia. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'll take your word for that there's cool things going on in Saudi Arabia, like, but that region, dangerous for people that kind of look like me. So, like, not gonna happen. I would love to go to the more desert portions of this planet and kick around a little bit. That'd be fun. But so, you know, and I you know, whatever. It's nothing against those people. It's just I don't like to go, you know, to the bigger city up north of me. I don't like to go to Cleveland. I love going to Indians games and stuff like that, but I don't like to go to Cleveland because I don't really like to go anywhere. I don't like to go to work. Not because it's work. I actually enjoy going to work. It's fun to do my job, but I just don't like traveling anywhere. You know what I mean? So I do it as little as possible. So that's kind of the backbone of the reason, and then there's the whole, you know, the rest of the reason, you know. But nevertheless, you know, nothing against the people. You know, I'm sure it's a fine place. I'm sure it is. I'm sure that all of my fears are you know, misbegotten and ridiculous and whatever. But, you know, I'm not willing to gamble. I'm not a gambling man. So, but I got a lot of that. I got a lot of invites from people. Come to Saudi Arabia. See what it's like. You'll totally change your mind. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough. You know, it is fair enough. you can't really talk shit about a country unless you've been there. Right? It is kind of fair enough. You can, I mean, some countries you kind of can't. You can say that Venezuela kind of going to shit. Right? Fair enough. I think I can watch the news and see that Venezuela not having good times right now. You know what I mean? Hopefully that'll turn itself around one way or another. But nevertheless, what's going on there? Now, but Saudi Arabia, you know, at the time, there wasn't really anything going on with Saudi Arabia. It was Canadians picking on Saudi Arabia. So, whatever. And I got a lot of people that were, you know, trying to help me. So you really don't understand, you know, you need to do a lot more research. And I, you know, those people I said to, well, send me links. Tell me what I should look into. Right? I reached out to people because they seemed genuinely like they wanted a discourse. And I got a couple of people that, you know, I wound up seeing in the comments for a couple months afterwards. And, you know, I don't know if, you know, most of them still watch, but I think I still have a couple of my fine Saudi people who still watch me every once in a while. So, hello to you. But, with the Philippines, however, you know, it hasn't been the same amount. I mean, it's been a lot longer, actually, that this video has kind of marinated. But in the last 2 weeks, I've gotten a lot of comments. And they've varied slightly. Right? I've gotten a lot of death threats. Which, right? But the death threats that I've gotten have been, don't come to the Philippines because if we ever see you in the Philippines, we'll kill you. Those kind of threats. And it's like, not come here, you'd be amazed at how wonderful it actually is. It's, you come here and you'll die. So, I can't say that the Filipino people have done a whole lot to make me feel welcome. I actually feel far more afraid to go to the Philippines right now than I do Saudi Arabia, because I know that there's at least a couple of guys in Saudi Arabia that might take care of me, you know what I mean? I don't feel like there's anybody in the Philippines that really likes me very much right now. So, and a lot of just insults. I got a lot of insults. And then there was one person who I am willing to read their comment in the context of I'm trying to start a discourse with you. Even though I'm not entirely sure that's what was going on. So we'll find out. I left a very large comment back. I'm waiting to hear a response. Hopefully the response will not be, if you ever come to the Philippines, we'll kill you. Because I've already heard that enough. But, So, about the Philippines. What do I really think about the Philippines? Now, as far as the Canada versus the Philippines situation, I gotta be honest with you. I have no idea what that was about. I remember there being a deal for helicopters, but I thought that was with the U.S., but that might have been the problem. Maybe it was when Trump was trying to work out the trade deal with Canada and Mexico. Canada had a problem with us selling helicopters to the Philippines. Maybe that's what it was, something like that. I don't remember. But in that situation, I kind of thought to myself, this is my honest critique on the situation. And hopefully this stands up to the past video. Hopefully I'm not saying anything too wildly different here. But if that was the situation, and I believe that was the situation, here's my take on that situation. If that's the situation, which I don't even know. So here's my take on a hypothetical, I think this was it. Canada's fucking retarded. Like, it isn't Canada's business what business the U.S. does with other countries. We're trying to sell helicopters to the Philippines so that they can deal with insurrections in their country, with drug lords that are trying to take over. And President Duarte is all about not fucking around with these guys. And I think that's awesome. I love that guy. I really, really do. I love the guy to death. I love watching interviews with him. He's the type of guy that I would watch like him do interviews and speeches and stuff. I would watch that kind of stuff while I eat. Now, I don't know if that culturally is going to be insulting to anybody, but I have one rule. I will only watch entertainment stuff while I eat. I don't watch the news. I don't do work while I eat. I at least give myself, lunch and dinner. When I come home from work, I eat lunch and I watch something entertaining. And then I work, and then I have dinner and I watch something entertaining, and then hopefully by that point I'm done doing work and then I'm, doing something else. But nevertheless, right? Like I don't do work. And I don't consider watching President Duterte, I think that's how you say his name, Duarte, I don't know, sorry. I think watching him just talk is amazing. I love listening to the guy speak. As a statesman, he's amazing to watch. I love the guy to death, personally. Now, here's the rub. While I love him personally for the meme, the only policy that I know of from him, right? This is the only policy I know of from him, was that he essentially put a bounty on drug dealers in his country. Now, I'm kind of stuck here. Because the drug dealers in his country, they're not like, Phil, the dude you buy weed from. They're not the same guys. These are like the Mexican drug lord cartel guys that are like trafficking people while they're selling drugs and using kids as mules and shit like that. Like, these are the bad guys. So I'm kind of like, well, I can understand in a country that is very lawless and has a whole lot of problem with drug cartels and that sort of thing, and has for a decade or more, and has had not great leadership for that amount of time and then some, that, a hard situation takes a hard man to deal with. And I'm kind of like, this guy is not messing around. He is not playing with his policies. And for the situation, I'm kind of like, but at the same time, he has singled out a group of people in his country that he doesn't like, and he put a bounty on them. So I'm kind of like, I get it. I understand. And honestly, I'm kind of like, I get it. I understand. But at the same time, I'm kind of looking at it like, I don't know how I feel about that. Because there have been other world leaders that have singled out groups of people that they didn't like. And it never ends well. So, and while this is a group that I think universally we can kind of be like, these are really bad people. Like, he's killing people that are murderers. So, like, that's kind of a justice of a sort. He's just, dispensing with the courts really so much. And that's where I'm kind of like, but different, it's a very different situation than the situation that I'm currently in. So, I can't help but go, I don't have a complete and total problem with it. It's a very gray area. I get it, but I'm like, And it's that other part where I'm like, I think that we just, as people of the world, need to pay attention to a world leader that does that sort of thing. Fair enough? Like, today it's this group, and hopefully that's where it ends. But it's entirely possible that he could decide he has another group of people he doesn't like. And that's going to be a really, really, really bad day. And I don't ever want to see that day. So as long as he sticks to the horrible, horrible drug lord type people, I can go, it's not a great solution to the problem. But it seems to be the only real solution to the problem. So, I don't know. Sometimes you just have to burn out cancer, I guess, is the philosophy behind the belief that that's acceptable. You know, I don't know. It's a very morally gray area for me, and that's where I have my problem. But beyond that, I like the Filipino people. I have no problem at all with Filipino people. Apparently, many of them are drug lords and very nasty people, but I wouldn't say that that's indicative of Filipino people as a whole. So, you know, and I hear they kind of have crazy women, which I can't entirely say is a turn off. So, you know, that's pretty much my wheelhouse. So I don't know what to tell you. I have no problem with Filipino people. I have no problem with their president at all, except it's a very morally gray area that I'm on his side for. So, you know, hopefully this kind of clears some of it up. Hopefully I won't get killed for going to the Philippines. Hopefully the people that want to kill me from the last video will see the new video, and I don't know. But, yeah. So, I felt it needed addressing. And I thought it was interesting, the comparison of the two countries. But I can't say that it's a total one side or the other thing between Saudi Arabia and the Philippines. All I can say is that I feel like it would be far safer for me to go to Saudi Arabia than the Philippines right now. But, you know, it's not like I'm huge. It was like 8 or 9 people, you know, which is still far more than Saudi Arabia, nevertheless. But yeah, and the one person that I reached out to so far that seemed like they might possibly, maybe, hopefully be willing to respond, I haven't gotten a response from yet, but it was like 2 hours ago when I did it, so I don't expect a response yet. I don't even know what time zone they're in. I don't know what time it would be right now. So, there you go. I don't know. But that's what's going on with me right now. That's the thing that's going on with the Philippines. That's why I mentioned in the other video about like what's going on with the Philippines. Because I'm like, all of a sudden I'm getting all these views and comments on the Canada versus the Philippines, and I'm like, what happened? Like, what's going on now? Because that was, I don't even remember when that was. It was like, a year ago almost? I don't even know. But whatever. So, it's on YouTube. It just stays there forever. Anybody can look up the Philippines whenever they want to. I think I tagged it with Philippines. I have no clue. But, there you go. That's what's going on with me. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. And,